This is a timeless reading for anyone interested in having this type of tarot service. This is a MapQuest tarot reading. For price, inquiry, and appointment, please contact me only via my email address. Payments must be made prior to May 7th, continuing services for individual. With that being said, this MapQuest reading may be for you if you're interested in discovering what elements of tarot may be used to help adjust to life using tarot and what it offers. Tarot is comprised of several different facets, but most importantly, it's about tapping into an energy and being either on the precipice of reading the energy or receiving the messages of what is being spoken. Keep in mind that feminine and masculine energies within every reading is non-gender specific, so you can be female or male-bodied and still resonate with any of the feminine, or the masculine energies that come out throughout the reading. This reading will help us understand how tarot can be used, or help us understand closer the subject as to how tarot can be helpful in an individual's life. I am someone that is very much aware that in a major point in my life, tarot was the only thing available left in its good graciousness that helped save my life. And what it allows us to do, it allows us to play with the energies that we feel we are connected to and bringing them out into light by showing us different modalities of artwork and numbers and vibrations, and also light, and also the void of light, to help us decipher where we are on a certain journey. And that in and of itself is kind of where I get the word map from, to see where we are or where we may want to head towards and where we'd like to go. So I'm going to start the reading off with some oracle cards to help us figure out what the subject is right now. Keep in mind it is a timeless reading, so energies could resonate with you regardless, whether it's something that is resonating with you in your past, current, present energies, or perhaps future energies. Keep in mind that energy is only interpreted in being able to apply a label on it, so that way we use our inquisitive journey of discovery, if we're on such pursuit, and feel that we are either resonating with whatever it is, quote unquote, we're clicking on. So, my relationship with sevens is really tight, as I would say. So I just want to highlight that is the reason that I am just consider myself an intuitive reader. I go with the flow of what she wants me to talk about, how many cards I'm waiting for, and how the energies I'm going to interpret, whether they are showing up on the screen, or showing up in the reading as a reversal. I do use my intuition in that moment and my inquisition with seventh to understand whether or not I'm keeping it in reverse, to talk about it in reverse, because oftentimes I am a reader that already puts the situation in a certain perspective that an announcement of it being reversal is not necessary. I'm hearing that I'm waiting on 2. Please keep in mind that I, as a reader, try to make it as comfortable of an environment to receive the messages that I am intuitively called to speak on. And with that comes a reality, and that reality is sound triggers reactions and noises and peace and solitude and chaos and whatever can be created to understand the picture that you may also be looking at or just hearing out for. I'm saying that because there are background noises that you may pick up that can trigger you or emphasize the need to find a balance with whatever it is that you're feeling, and allowing the judgments that are accrued through such interpretations to use them as one, a sense of discovery, and two, the mechanisms and tools needed to find your own peace at hand, so that you don't have any judgments towards anything really, but also, you know, you can criticize an artwork for what it is, because we feel entitled to use the voice box that we have to ourselves, and we feel that we are speaking our Second Amendment rights, I believe we would say, where we're practicing our freedom of speech. But if we're going to isolate those words within that quote, it doesn't matter where it comes from, we have to look at things on a simplified note, especially when it's chaotic. And people hate it oftentimes when you, either as a reader or a thinking mind, oversimplify things. And I have an issue with people who find oversimplification a problem, because I don't know how else to fix a problem without trying to oversimplify it. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's get started. So we have Shaolin Master, be graceful in movement and action. So I hope you can see the orange colored, I want to say cloak that this gentleman is wearing. The imagery that we spoke about that is important to understand as a reader, especially when it's just a collective and not a personal one. For that, please reach out for me if you feel called to do so. However, on a general perspective, what I feel called to speak on is what feels important to speak upon in that moment. So this energy is of the masculine sort. Whether you are male-bodied or have a lot of masculine in you as a female body, there is an overexertion of wanting to be the best that you can be. I obviously don't really know yet, with evidence in front of me and by showing it off to you with example, whether or not it's true that you are on the precipice of overworking yourself and not actually being in this state as this energy suggests that you could be in right now as a Shaolin master. I think you are on a desire of that pursuit. You want to be a master amongst masters. You want to be on that trajectory, and you may be on the egotistical route of taking that ownership into a sense of mastery without knowing the rules of laws of attraction and the universal laws of justice and the universal laws of law and order. Snake, shed old skin. Beautiful energy to pay witness to what I just said, because no matter what the snake suggests, old patterns need to be shed in order for new patterns to rise from old patterns and offer new patterns. I hope that was very clear in the message in and of itself, because we're moving on. I'm waiting on two. now is the time for spiritual enlightenment that the majority of you who are being called at this time to listen are not currently on, as I have felt. It says, the card says discipline. But before I get to saying what the card says, I want to say that the time of taking in a lot of information has already happened to you, most likely the one that's listening to this message, over the span of years at this point. Taking in a lot of information and using your own discernment to judge and interpret and have opinions upon the things that you know, whether it's because you know things through experiences or know things through textbook knowledge, or have a keen understanding or astute or mature understanding of scripture and theology and religion and the religions, or textbook education or indoctrinations of law. Whatever the expertise that brings you here, there's a level of discipline that is required. Because for some, like I said, you're on the precipice of thinking that you are a master, but there is just no mastering within the label that you own. The card says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. All right, it's a beautiful message to help understand the snake message that came up previously, to understand that in changes and accepting things that we are either on this map on, whatever this map in your mind of the life that you're created or feel that universe has thrown you in to just accept. There is a level to be learned and to be appreciative of the things that, one, you may or may not understand these words when I say you have chosen this journey, but whatever it is, reality is what you understand is at the face value of what it is you bring. I think that in and of itself brings you here to understand that you are, at least in that aspect, a Shaolin master. And that's why the message is, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. So again, humor is really important. It is a form of philosophical thinking to think that the simplified things that human life only really needs in its life to be happy or to be on this trajectory of pursuit of happiness is food, shelter, and comedy, laughter. And in that comedy sector, we laugh, we physically move organs within our body that have a chance to organically, due to whatever it is that you find humorous, have a chance to vibrate. And in that vibration, filter out artificial light. And artificial light is the negative, and in this case, a transparent negative energy of light within light. And to access that is to understand that you choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Whether we are in the lighter side of life and have yet a lot of things to still master, because like I said, there's a reality of those that are Shaolin masters for knowing that the pursuit of reality that they're on, they cannot change. There is a mastery that is yet to be attuned and be honored to receive by the universe and those who are true masters and honest masters. That there is a sense of knowing there are deeper levels to the inquisitions of a human life that the universe wants you to understand is just as important to master. All right, in this deck I'm waiting on 2. Stand up for yourself, a spotted skunk. Just automatically gives me the energy of having to address our inner child, whether or not we really have a toxic or a healthy relationship with our inner child is determined whether or not this skunk feels threatened to give off his scent, because I don't know if the skunk itself knows that the stench that it gives off when it passes its gas, that it's really gunky, and everyone around it just is so there's so many emotions that go through it. That's why the most obvious answer doesn't come up immediately, but the obvious answer is it's fucking stinky, right? So it's a smell that we run away from. It's a smell that when we know that we've been in contact with it, we try to come up with different rituals just to get the stench out again. And as an inner child, that we have to remember as we live and unfold every day and accrue time on earth, we get to experience a lot and we get to forget a lot. But in the art of forgetting a lot, we rediscover through remembering a lot more. And in that exchange of memory, we learn some memories are good and some memories are bad. And when we have a vortex within ourselves that offers us a secure place in our life, then we can trust to tap into that energy vortex. And that energy vortex, especially in this reading, is hinting at addressing your inner child. You are worthy. Tabby cat. So whether you are someone who values religion or values going to church or a temple or a place of worship, you understand the importance of a ritual because you are an individual who is moved by the energies that a ritual offers. Whether or not you use your ego to offer and include yourself in a ritual is the precipice of universal laws that you may or may not know you are lingering in, putting yourself in, and either fucking up your life or making your life the best that it could possibly be. In that, the feeding of the inner child, or the journey of understanding what it means to have a relationship with your inner child, is one, being the adult of that child and having a conversation with that child and saying first and foremost, you are worthy. So we're going to look into further of this reading using tarot. And I'm going to wait on 7th reveal and how many cards I am waiting for. And hold on, let me get the number first. So I'm hearing 4. These. All right, first card is number 5, the Hierophant. Second card is the 9 of Pentacles. Third card is the Queen of Cups. And then followed by the 7 of Pentacles. So the Hierophant energy proves, again, that you are someone, or you know of someone, or there's an energy you will agree with that is and has accrued the time and knowledge and wisdom to be labeled as mastery. because the Hierophant proves that energy. The Hierophant is an individual that tapped into an energy source of knowing that to inquire about the information, to seek out more information, accrues the energy of the intellect of the mind. And that intellect of the mind that has now capitulated is then a vortex of emotional desire to get into and to see if the information that you can then apply to your life is something that you understood you can tap into and utilize it for hopefully the pros, but also understanding how they work for you in the cons. The Nine of Pentacles is saying that you're taking ownership, whether it's that ownership of what I just said or ownership of independency to stack on to further of your knowledge, further of your goals, further of your monetary means and independency, or the journey of discovering and rediscovering such journey. Because the inquisition of knowing how to be a master is knowing that you always seek out other masters to help understand what it is that you may not understand, to build your own mastery. And that mastery gets fulfilled with the universal laws of justice that not that many have had the blessing to really consciously break through into in order to gain the title of true mastery. The Queen of Cups energy suggests that energy, where it says that there are still individuals, whether it's you or the people you're around and connected with on an emotional level, is unable to put the emotions that now have accrued in the intellect of knowing where you stand with the information that makes you a master, and putting them into a forward, progressive, onward movement that you can use those energies and really make sense of what direction your life is trying to go and be in control of taking it to its journey that it wants to go. The Seven of Pentacles shares and showcases that vulnerability, that wanting to take that inner child to its own journey, by whether you're on the discovery of wanting to figure out who that inner child is or re-tapping into that, and then leaving it then ultimately to the laws of universal justice's hand to see whether or not in the world that we are, you decide on the equilibrium of harmony that we all should stand when it comes to oversimplifying things in a chaotic world and call it the universe. We're going to look a little deeper with another deck. I'm waiting for 4 cards. Princess of Cups, as in also the Page of Cups, if you're familiar with Tarot. It's saying that regardless if you are on the precipice of true vulnerability, then you're allowing yourself to be truly, completely open with your own hands of love, which is then the hands of the cup of love that you are innocently walking around with, and allowing the contents of that which it is you pour out into the cup or from yourself, or allow others to pour into the cup for you. You're learning to have a safe conversation, or whatever it means for you to have a secure foundation, to be able to assess whether the contents within the cup are full, to the halfway point, and then consider it as a content of a cup that is half full or half empty. To live in the duality of knowing both extremes is what allows you to understand that the full understanding of a solid makeup of who you are emotionally is the only reason one can understand scientifically that the moon itself casts no light. The moon itself only repels the light for which it attracts the energy of, which is the sun. Next card is death. A lot of people just now feel worried, feel disappointed. I'm hearing, oh shit, or fuck this shit. Like, this is too real. And what do we honestly expect of the universe and every day besides what is the honest truth? It's different to hear the word honest truth than to hear, well, what about waking up to the truths every day, or the truth, or the truth will set you free, or how's that saying? The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. There's a difference between hearing those words when you use the word truth, because truth in and of itself, and we've understand as a society, and if you don't, then I'm not assuming that part, but I think we're on the precipice to at least get to understand that truth has been manipulated, and truth doesn't offer 100% validity. So we have to throw, is it honest truth onto it, so that we exponentially make it a more of an importance of a need and a requirement for the purity of the subject at hand, or the thing at hand, or whatever, X variable, insert whatever you need into that. In that understanding, we have here, now in this death depiction of the card, she has two sets of hands. One is the ultimate reversal of then having, instead of having the hands that offer the vulnerability of wanting more light, we're having the vulnerability of only accepting darkness. And darkness wants more darkness, because the darkness in its own way has its light. And in that light of darkness, we get to figure out where we stand. And then that is called a rebirth. We have the Three of Swords energy, fantastic cloak energy now, where we see the vulnerability of this card, Princess of Cup, as the light energy, the overshadowing death energy of this card, and then that same representation without a face, but the hands and as a cloak, with three swords in this individual's hands. And in this individual, we don't know necessarily the sex of the portrait. We have to immediately understand the honoring of the universal law, of which I already reminded you of in the beginning of the reading, that feminine and masculine energies are non-gender specific. So the universal law, first and foremost, does not care whether or not you have chosen or have an awareness of the body that you're in. It only focuses on how you balance feminine and masculine energy. And in that intellect, how do you survive? We have the Two of Discs, very clear energy of knowing that with what you've heard up to this point of what this reading is supposed to deliver, if this service is something that you'd like to do or like to learn about more, is choices. There are things that we experience every day And whether or not we egotistically say that we have an intellect or our experience shape us to make these decisions, or if you are someone who is a master of understanding how energy does work, the ones that are not as easily spoken about, you know that either way, whatever spectrum of the world of chess game you're on, it's the choices of the movements of the chess pieces that gets you closer to figuring out whether or not you're on the winning trajectory of the chess game or if you're on the losing end of the chess game, okay? That is all that I have for you for this service reading. I hope that some of these messages, if not all, resonated with you. Please take the messages that did resonate with you and leave the rest behind that did not. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, and night, and wherever you are in the precipice of this time and space, may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Bye.